Was it always this hard to win a hockey game? Not that I should be complaining. Avs win over the Anaheim Ducks 4-3 in overtime. Look, the Avs played great for the vast majority of this game. I would say 55 minutes of regulation and all of overtime. They were just the better hockey team. The only place this game was close was on the scoreboard. The Avs dominated the Ducks up and down the ice in regulation, in overtime, and in pretty much every single facet. The problem is, some silly nonsense goals happened. And I don't want to say that the Avs played perfect hockey. There were mistakes made there, but I really don't know how much better the Avs can play than they did in this game. They outshot the Ducks 49-20. They won the special teams battle. They had the majority of the dangerous chances. They ultimately won the game. It was just about as good as you can play. This game probably could have been 8-9-10-3 if it weren't for Lucas Dostal, so a tip of the cap to the Ducks goaltender. He played a great game. Unfortunately, the Ducks in front of him just aren't very good. The Avs started strong, as they have often, in fact, more often than not this season. Strong starts don't win you hockey games, though, and in the Avs case, far too often they don't get anything out of them. Despite outshooting the Ducks 7-1 early in the game, the Ducks score the first goal. Anaheim on the breakout here. The Avs almost caught in a 3-on-2 against, but some good hustle back from Logan O'Connor essentially prevents this. An initial pass through the middle does not connect. It bounces off of Georgiev. The Avs are able to kick the puck out, but not to a great spot. So another high-quality chance is coming. And credit to Georgiev, he makes a good first save here. Problem is, he has no idea he saved this puck. He's looking behind him. He has no clue where this puck is. Where it is right below him, sitting right between his pads. All he has to do is look down and cover this puck, and the Avs are free here. No danger, all good. Instead, him not knowing where the puck is means the puck stays loose. It kicks out. It ends up in this mess of bodies in front of the net. The only person right now who might know where it is Josh Manson and apparently this ref. So from there, Manson tries to seal this puck up against Georgiev's pad. And he holds it there for a good couple of seconds, but the ref ultimately decides that that's still a loose puck and that it is not covered. So eventually the Ducks are going to figure it out. They start poking at the puck and it ends up in the net after a handful of seconds of this nonsense. Look, I've seen the whistle blown for less when it comes to covering the puck in the NHL. In fact, it happened in this game for less. But it is what it is. A frustrating, weird type of goal that, honestly, it feels like that's what goes in on a team when they're in a slump and struggling. The Avs spend the rest of the first period doing everything but score a goal on Anaheim. 18 shots on net, and none of them go in the first period for Colorado. And then you have the second goal against for the end of the period. Look, I'm going to break down the goal and then we're going to talk about the things. Oh, hey, look, it's a ref that actually messes up this call. I'm about to call him a linesman a bunch of times, so whoops, my bad on that. Look, this puck has just gone out of play. The Ducks shot it in, it hit the netting somewhere up here. It was definitively out of play. Everyone on the ice except for the guys in stripes knows that this puck is out of play. The Avs have essentially stopped playing. They're waiting for a whistle here. Girard is skating around. In fact, the Avs are even actively communicating with this ref, telling him that that puck went out of play. Eventually, the ref just decides, I guess I'm just not going to call it. Sam just gives up and throws this puck into the neutral zone. That's all there is to it. That's not an attempt to make any type of play. With no whistle, the Ducks ultimately take the puck back into the zone quickly, and the Avs, who are stuck in cruise control, are not defending well, particularly Nathan MacKinnon. MacKinnon turns towards the boards for some unknown reason and just kind of starts skating towards the corner. And that's a problem because as this initial shot comes in, the guy Nathan MacKinnon is supposed to be defending is now blowing by him as he tries to turn around and get back into the play. So when this rebound comes out right to Nathan MacKinnon's guy, yeah, that's bad. You're scored on. So multiple things can be true here. One, yes, the linesman absolutely baited the Avs horribly on a play that was very clearly a puck out of play. The whistle should have been blown. None of this should have ever happened. That is objectively true and not very fun from the Avs' perspective of things. They got it wrong. They know they got it wrong, and it cost the Avs. Two, Sam Girard has to make a better play with that puck. I know that the ref or linesman or whatever you want to call it is not helping him. He's fully expecting a whistle to blow there, to the point where the linesman is making the motions of going to blow the whistle. So Sam thinks that play is ending. It's that simple. With that being said, the whistle doesn't blow. Every sport in the history of time that anyone has ever played from the age of like 6 gets told, play until the whistle. The Avs did not do that. Understandably, but they did not do that. Again, you're in a funk. You're struggling to get your first win of the season. You started 0-4. Things aren't going your way so far this season. These are the types of things that happen when things aren't going your way. You need to be able to be ready for them and work through them. And to be honest, the Avs did that through the majority of this game, just not in that particular moment on that particular play. Thankfully, the Avs would not take no for an answer despite losing the first period 2-0. They get one of those goals back almost immediately in the second period. Okay, this is a disaster of a play for the Ducks here. You can see the Ducks are gaining the zone, and they're also changing at the same time. Guys are coming off and on, and the Ducks don't really do anything particularly dangerous during this change of play here. They just kind of get stuck along the wall and don't play it very well. They try to throw it in deep here, but Makar reads the play well and is able to step up and into a puck. And as he's reading this, you have Ducks literally crashing into each other while 2 Ducks forwards are committing deep into the zone. So this is 4 players for the Ducks committed all the way into the zone. It's not hard for Cale Makar to cut back, find some space here as the Ducks continue to stumble and crash all over themselves. This is bad. It's a bad play from the Ducks right here alone. Makar is able to get this puck out into space to Nikolai Kovalenko, and right here, you should be good for a 2-on-1. All square, looking good, feeling good. And then you realize as Kovalenko passes this up to Middelstat, there just isn't a 5th Duck on the ice. They just messed up their change, didn't put a 5th player out there. Middelstat has a clean breakaway, and with his slick hands, yeah, the Avs are getting on the board. Cale Makar extends his point streak to all 5 games to start this season. Nikolai Kovalenko gets his first NHL point. Congratulations to him. And Casey Middelstat continues to be a key contributor for this team to start this year. With how thin the Avs are at forward right now, they simply need Middelstat to be very effective, and he has been. 4 goals in 5 games. Small sample size, I know, but that's a higher rate of goal scoring than he's ever had in his career. If he could breach that 20-goal mark, the Avs might really be cooking once they start getting guys back. Somehow, that's the only goal of the period, despite the Avs outshooting Anaheim 17-3 in the second. Again, on the underlines, this game was nowhere near close, not even remotely. A game like this, 9 out of 10 times, the Avs are going to run away with it. And I get it. Anaheim's not a very good team. You don't want to give them that much credit for a win like this. I think you still should. I think the Avs really battled hard and showed that, hey, maybe that 0-4 start is not just a completely bad team, but some team that wasn't getting things breaking their way. Which is true of this game too, and this time they were finally able to overcome that a little bit. A slew of penalty calls ends up with the Avs having a 4-on-3 into a 5-on-3 to start the third period, and that is where they tie this game. A 4-on-3 situation that's going to quickly turn into a 5-on-3 situation for the Avs, but ultimately here, you know the rules. You pretty much have to score on these, especially if you're behind. Makar, maybe not the prettiest play of all time, but just good old-fashioned hard work, keeps getting it until the Avs are able to control that puck and get an initial setup. A beautiful slide across from Casey Middelstat there. I don't think people know how hard that is to do. Middelstat tucks his stick into his own body here and is essentially able to toe drag this across for a pass to Ross Colton in the middle. Colton doing a good job to create enough space for himself to get the shot off, but that beautiful pass and a perfect shot make this play work. Another very high skill play from Middelstat, but also Ross Colton with the finishing ability that, frankly, the Avs have not had enough of from the bumper spot for years, if we're being honest. The Avs have loved to use a player in the bumper, and it requires a high-end finisher to be able to score from there with regularity. Colton is showing that he can do that on the power play. Once they get healthy, I'm not sure if Colton stays on the top unit, to be perfectly honest with you, but if he can keep up a pace even close to what he's scoring at so far this year on the power play, he might be able to make it stick there. And it goes even beyond that for Ross Colton, because he's playing on the top line in this game. And realistically, the thing the Avs need most over the last couple of games is 5-on-5 production from their best players. And that is ultimately what they get in this third period to garner their first lead of the game. At this point, the Avs are just pouring it on. It feels like the Ducks can't even get possession of the puck no matter what they do. This puck comes to the corner from MacKinnon. Mikko, I don't think he does this on purpose. I think this is a little bit mishandled initially, and he doesn't play it very well. But what he does do is, while this puck is getting away from him, he recognizes something. Ross Colton has found a little bit of space cutting through the middle, and because he's a giant moose human being, he's able to still get to pucks even if they slip away from him, and in one fluid motion, he slides this puck to the middle to Colton, and that is even better than his first shot. You can't do it any better. Much like Colton's first goal, no doubt, that's an unreal pass from Mikko Rantanen to set that play up. But again, Colton is there, finds the soft spot in the ice, and has the perfect finish. It takes a lot of skill to be able to shoot a puck like that. And maybe more importantly, it takes a lot of skill to play next to those types of players. We're not that far removed from Ross Colton being a third-line center, and he's playing first-line wing now. Not just that, but he's doing a damn fine job of it. It is unfair, probably, to expect Ross Colton to be a first-line caliber player, but the reality of the Avs is that's what he has to be. For them to win hockey games, that's what he has to be right now. So is Ross Colton a first-line player long-term? Probably not, but he's making a case for himself to be top 6 for now. His flexibility in the lineup is truly invaluable to the Avalanche. Even when they get healthy, he's that utility knife that they'll be able to flip around the lineup as necessary. And right now, he's providing a much-needed finishing ability in the Avs forward core. That should have been the game-winning goal. The Avs should have won this game in regulation. But while the first 2 goals of this game were wonky and funky, the Avs really don't have anyone to blame but themselves on the third goal. With 5 minutes left in the game, the Avs take a penalty. They managed to kill it. It was a questionable call, if I'm being honest, but they managed to kill it. And right after they kill it, they take another penalty. From Cale Makar, no less. And don't get me wrong, I thought Cale Makar was quite good for the majority of this game, but that's a really tough penalty to swallow. You already have tired penalty killers because of the first penalty, and they are just downright exhausted with the second one. They somehow managed to kill the penalty itself, but they're unable to change as the Ducks keep possession, and it just felt almost inevitable that this game was going to be tied. The Avs have been out there for over 2 minutes at this point, and they're still giving it their all. Miles Wood gives up the body to block a shot here. They're doing everything they can to try and get out of this in regulation, but with just nothing left in the tank and some fresher Ducks on the ice, eventually an extra man, you cannot cover everything. Manson doesn't have the legs to get out and challenge hard, so it creates enough room for the puck to get to the dot, and then this is a perfect shot. He puts it off the post in the corner and into the net. Yeah, other teams are allowed to make good plays too. That's a good one. That's a perfect shot, and 2, Georgiev made multiple big saves across the 2 penalties before that, so I don't put this on Georgiev at all. This was on the penalty killers and players on the ice in front of him. Not necessarily the play. At that point, I get it. The Avs are too exhausted to do much about anything, if we're being honest. The problem is they ended up in that situation. 1, with the penalty itself from Cale Makar, but 2, they had a couple of reasonable clearing chances on that penalty that they were unsuccessful on getting up and out of the zone. It's not good enough. You've got to be able to clear those pucks. In a situation like that, where you're at the end of a game and you just need to get a change, someone's got to find a way to get that puck down the ice instead of a soft chip to the corner or a poorly played puck up the wall that's never going to get out. I could probably go in on that harder. Maybe I would have if the Avs lost this game, but that's not how it played out, and they won this game, so let's be happy for a minute. The overtime was an overtime. It's always scary. The Avs did hit a post in this overtime, which, by the way, they hit 3 posts in this game. Another reason they really probably could have ran away with it. And there was one play where the Ducks probably should have won the game, but they missed an open net on their own. Other teams make mistakes too. Ultimately, the Avs outshoot the Ducks 5-1 in overtime. They had the vast majority of the possession and significantly more danger on their plays. Look, the Avs have really good players. Yeah, Sometimes it takes 49 shots, but eventually one's going to go in. It's been a bit of a track meet of an overtime so far, but the Avs have the forwards they want out on the ice. Mikko is getting off here, but you've wound up Nathan MacKinnon. That's all you really need to do in overtime. Doesn't always work, but you hope for the best. MacKinnon, honestly, this is more of him just not taking no for an answer. He's got all three Ducks surrounding him, and he cuts the middle and says, I don't care. I'm taking this space, and I'm getting this shot off. He does. Dostal gets the majority of it. It really probably should have been a save, but Matt gets enough on it for it to just trickle by anyway. It was perhaps a lot harder than it should have been, but that does not matter to me. The Avs found a way to win a game. They have a win on the board, and you can breathe a little bit. No, this doesn't erase the 4 losses to start the season. No, in the grand scheme, this one win doesn't put them in a great position. They have a lot more work to do, but you can't start winning a bunch of games without winning the first one. And again, outside of some pretty tough luck around this, couple of goals against, I don't know that the Avs can play a whole lot better than that. Not in the sense that you should be concerned about that. I think you should be excited about that. The Avs are showing they're capable of dominating teams. The goals will come. The bounces will come. This team will be fine. They do need to win more hockey games, though. But if you play like that, you'll win a lot of games. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and they don't all have to be that close. You can win some games easy, too.